set apart for serving or worship. Family, as I begin to seek God concerning this 10 a.m. service, and by the way, happy Father's Day again to all of our fathers, I asked the Lord, what do you want me to say on this day? And the Spirit of the Lord began, Tony, to drop into my spirit the story of Samson and Delilah. The Spirit of God began to say, he says, tell my men it's their power that the enemy is after. So I want to talk about this morning, not my power is sacred. In other words, it's dedicated and set apart for worship to deity, to our God. Family, as I began to look at this story of Samson and Delilah, I heard the Spirit of God say, son, my people do not know what they want. And what they want, I have labeled it as forbidden fruit. A psychologist by the name of Paul Rosen did a survey titled, What Are Singles Looking For Nowadays? And despite the widespread myth that men prefer skinny women, Paul proves by asking men what body type they go for when they are attracted to. They typically pick the average female figure. The dating status shows that, watch this, that looks, watch this, are not that important. 67% U.S. single men and 86% of U.S. single women find that someone who smiles a lot is a bigger turn on over someone who is physically attracted but has no personality. Another stereotype that has no confirmation is that men prefer younger women. In what calls a blow to the self-esteem of young but less attractive women. Men appear to choose prettier women even if they are older. In the survey of 2003 by the AARP, 35% of middle-aged women said they prefer to date younger men. And statistics says that singles are looking for, watch this, intelligence, optimistic attitudes, self-confidence, watch this, and partners who enjoy the same hobbies or interests that they do. Similar levels of intelligence. In other words, you got to be able to talk with me. Similar levels of intelligence, and watch this, also similar levels of education. You can't be a dropout and I got my doctorates. That's what statistics says. So most people are looking to find themselves in their partners. I'm going to get back to the power and the sacred of it. I'm trying to lead you up to something. I said most people are looking to find themselves in their partner, if the truth be told. You know who you are. You work at who you are. You know what you like. So you're looking, trying to find yourself in somebody else. Now here we picked up in our text where the Bible says Samson was born a what? A Nazarite. In other words, unto God. The Bible says in the 13th chapter that an angel did what? Come unto the wife of Manoah, and which was a barren woman, and said unto you that you shall what? Conceive what? A son. And he says, and he gave them some instructions. He says, and when you receive this son, don't drink. Do not let a razor come to his what? No razor shall come upon his head. Now the Bible goes on to say Samson grew. I'm getting into my story. I'm almost finished. Samson grew, and one day he went down to Timnath and saw a woman of Philistine, and told his father and mother. He says, I have seen a woman. Get her for me. He says, I want to marry her. And his father said, why do you want to marry a Philistine? In other words, an uncircumcised person. Why do you want to marry someone since you've been sacred, pulled apart from God? Why would you want to marry somebody that has no covenant with God? He says, then his father began to say this, and mother says, can't you find a wife of your kind? And he said, no, I want her because she pleased me well. I'm almost there. So Samson married her. Samson married her, and at the feast, watch this. Samson began. I'm paraphrasing for the time of sake. I can go on for about an hour, but I got to take my time on this. So Samson married this woman, Mother Grant, and the Bible says there was a feast that was given. So Samson, remember when Samson and his mother went to the feast as they were going to prepare themselves for marriage. The Bible says Samson saw a lion. His mother and father didn't see this, but Samson saw a lion, and Samson went and tested his strength the first time. And the Bible says without any weapon, he tore apart the lion like it was a lamb. And he tore the lion apart. Mother and father still didn't see this, and he went on to the marriage supper, and Samson went on. And Diane, by the time Samson came back, the Bible says, I'm paraphrasing, the Bible says, Samson looked over at the carcass, and the carcass was just a dried up carcass, and in the carcass was bees. And in the bees was a lot of honey. So Samson began to eat of the honey and bought some for his mother and his father. And the Bible said, Lisa, that they did eat also. So why are you saying this? I'm trying to lead you up to the riddle that Samson told the people. If you can get this riddle, I will give you some stuff. So the Bible says, I picked up where I'm at right here. So the Bible says, here comes Samson. Say, I got a riddle. If you can figure out this riddle, I will give you 30 new garments. Whatever you need, I will give it to you. So here's the riddle, Peggy. I know some of you lost, but here's the riddle that he put before them. He began to tell them of the riddle. And they begin, he says, in 7 days, if you can figure this riddle out, I will give you 30 new pieces of garment. So understanding, knowing that they could not figure the riddle out because the only person knew what happened was him and God. But let me take it back. Remember, Chris, that the Bible says he married a woman that was a Philistine. So the Bible says, I picked up right here, he says, if you can figure this out, I'll give you 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. And they could not figure it out, so they went to his wife. Went to his wife and said, listen, we can't figure it out. So can you please entice your husband and get us the answer? And the Bible says, watch this, I'm paraphrasing, that Samson's wife wept before him and said, you hate me. She says, you hate me. And you don't love me. Watch this. Why are you saying this, woman? Because you told them a riddle and didn't tell me. Watch this setup. And he said, "What? Listen, lady, I didn't even tell my mother or my father." And the Bible says she cried 7 days. And on the 7th day, he began to tell her the riddle. It's about to get quiet. And when he told her the riddle, remember who she was. She was a Philistine. The Bible says, I'm paraphrasing, she went back to her people and told them the answer to the riddle. Now Samson got to produce what he should never have been producing.